GenExpand, completing the picture, is our topic today on Luminar Coffee Break. Let's see what we can accomplish in 10 minutes or less, starting now. Hello, everyone. All right, so our topic today is going to be on the GenExpand feature in Luminar Neo. Now, keep in mind, whenever we're dealing with AI like this, it's still in an infancy state, and not just our product, but all products, you're going to get really good results sometimes and really weird results others. I'm going to show you why you get weird results and how to change it to make you get better results, all right? But keep in mind, it's one of those random, you're trying to do something different to the image, you're trying to recreate the image, so it's going to do its best to make it look great. So let me dive in. So here I am. I'm going to start with a real easy one. Here's the St. Paul's Church I did in Key West, Florida. So notice the top section up in here. I didn't give it enough headroom. All right. So I want to expand. This is going to be an easy expansion because this is going to expand the sky. So I'm going to take it and drag it, and I have to be into the catalog view, into GenExpand. Once it goes into GenExpand, I'm going to take it. I just want to expand the sky just a little bit, right about there. Now, pay attention to the bottom of the screen down here. Watch what this is going to do for us. 1 second. There we go. So watch the bottom of the screen here. Expand. Now it's going to give us tips for more detailed results. Expand the photo little by little, not in huge chunks, all right? Because what it's doing is it's going to replace it with something like 50 by 1550 pixels, whatever it is, but look what it did. It gave me bad results here. So I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to put expand sky, blue sky, with clouds. All right, so we're going to try that. So I'm going to give it a prompt, and it's going to look at the image, analyze it, and then of course expand it. So, and if it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'll show you how we're step back. But look, it did a pretty good job with that. Look at that. So it expanded it. Now, what we're told not to do is this. Expand big. It's out here. Now, earlier, this worked perfect. I'm going to get rid of the prompt. No prompt. Expand. So this is what we're told not to do because, again, it's going to give unpredictable results. I did this several times, and the results came out really good, but we'll see what happens again. So once again, it's being random. It's randomizing the results. But look at this. It did a good job on the side, horrible job on the top. So that's why it's better to increase little by little each time. And if you don't like the results, again, I'm going to hit the undo button, all right, or the reset button. I'm going to cancel out of this for a moment. I'm going to go back into it one more time. Again, I'm in catalog view, GenExpand. I want to see if I could try to recreate what I did earlier. I did this, and I did here. And I was hoping for it to be bad, but it came out really good. So that's why I wanted to show you. It's going to be a random. It's going to randomize this. You saw when I did it little by little, it did a great job. When I try to go overboard, that's when it doesn't give us the best image. Well, look, here it did a great job. So it's one of those, again, hit or miss. But keep in mind, it has to replace the pixels with something. So notice the quality. In fact, let me just save it and let it go out. There we go. So notice here, look at that. You can actually see where it did the edges. So Again, inch by inch is better because you'll have more pixels to put in that particular area. Here, it's overloading the pixels. So I like what it did over here, and honestly, this is just a simple fix. If I chose to do it this way, then you would use clone and stamp, the erase tool, whatever you need to merge this to make it look better. All right? Now, what do we do? Or once it does that, notice it puts it in its own folder. So the folder it puts it into is the generative folder right here, generative creations. All right? So it puts it in that folder. Now, what I normally do at this point is I would take this image and move it back to where the original image came from. So this way I could keep it. Let me move this out of the way. Sorry about that. So I'll keep it to where I know exactly what I did with that image, and I put it into that original folder that the image came from. And if you notice, it renamed it the same name, but down on the bottom, it put GenExpand. So now I know that this was an AI expanded image, and I can go from there with it. All right. Well, let me take a couple more to show you. And I'm going to come down here. Hey, let's use our good friend, Jacob Bors. All right, so here we are with Jacob. Now, we have a decision to make here. If I want to use the develop AI, so I want to use the raw processing, I'm going to start processing the image first and then expand it later. So notice, again, up in here, I want more headroom up on top. So we have to make a decision. Do we enhance the image first and then expand it, or expand it first and then enhance it? So orders of operation are very important here. For this particular image, I am going to come in, and I do want to use the develop raw. All right. So watch what we're going to do. I'm going to come in, pump up the contrast a little bit, increase the shadows just a touch, tone down the white tones, enrich the black tones. All right. Before, after, good. I like where it's at. Maybe a little more enhancing here. There we are. All right, so I quickly developed the image. Yes, I'm taking a major chance here. This isn't part of it, but I don't want these people in the scene. So again, I could do it after I do the expand, or I could do it before. So you know what we'll do? We'll take one, we'll erase it, give it a second. Good, that did a good job. And we'll take this person here, get rid of them. Good. Now notice I'm not using generative expand. I'm using the traditional erase. I'm sorry, generative erase. I'm using the traditional one. And then of course, I'll take rid of this one. But you have to be careful not to intersect with other objects like I just did there. So what I want to do is deselect this area right here. All right. And erase. Let's see what that does for us. Good, did a great job. All right. So now I have the image ready. I'm going to come in, and I'm pressing L on the keyboard to read back to my catalog or the library view. Now I'm going to drag, drop it to GenExpand. And once I do, let's give it a little headroom. Right about there. And again, I want to replace it with, let's say, white clouds. And then let's see what it's going to do for us. Because what I don't want to happen is I don't want it to think that I want to expand the building. I want to expand the sky itself. So I gave it that prompt, and it did an okay job. But let's get rid of white. And we'll just call it clouds. Let's see what that does. And again, once it does this for us, we're going to decide which does it do better with a prompt or without a prompt. Typically with this, look, that did a great job. So look, I just said clouds, and look what it did for me. So now it gave me that room I was looking for. So I'm going to save it. And now that I saved it, this was called Scotland 5575. So I'm going to do a quick search. Here it is, 5575. So here is the GenExpand, and here's the original. All right. So what I want to do is this. Go to folder in library. And now if I come over here, it's going to show me that this was in the Scotland. Let's see, travel, Scotland. Here it is, Edinburgh. There it is. So it's showing me that this is where it was. So now what I'm going to do is leave it, and I'm going to come up to GenExpand. I'm sorry, generative creations. Right? So here I am with the gen creation. And what I'm going to do is take it and drag it into, where's my folder? Right there. I'm going to drag it under complete. And now it's right here where the rest of my images are. All right. So you could leave it in the generative expand, the generative creations folder, but you're going to get confused after a while. So that's why it's always best that once you do something with a generative, put it into that location. Now, in this case here, now that I have it like this, what I may do is even just rename it and maybe put version 1, version 2, or whatever, so I can complete my edits. All right. So that's just some of the best practices. Let me get back to GenExpand here. Now I'm going to use this image here. And we'll take it, drag it into GenExpand. And once again, I'm going to take it off to the side. And let's see what this does. Now, if I went too far, I'll erase it. Not erase it, undo it, and then go back in again. So what I'm trying to do here is show you that it's not always going to be perfect. So don't just try it and go, oh man, it stinks, I don't like it, and close out the tool. Look what I just did. So if I don't like it, I'll just hit undo, start over again. In this case, it did a really good job. Look at that. It enhanced the leaves or the petals, and it brought out the bud all the way through. So I would save it. In this case, I'm going to leave it for now. And I'm going to do one last one for you. This image right here. All right. So here's a shot again. I was with Jacob, and I was actually with Mark and his beautiful wife when we took this. This image here was kind of the best I could get. Eventually, I'm going to turn it into this. All right. Well, how am I going to get there? Well, a couple things. One, I could either try to find an image that I didn't have all this mess into it and try to do the generative expand that way, or I could take the original image here and start from scratch. And I'm going to use, let's see, what's the starting point? So here, we'll use, I'll use this image here. In this case, orders of operation. I have to start with develop raw, because what I need to do is come down here to transform, let it straighten it out for me, fix some of this here, maybe a little lens distortion. That looks good. And then let's see, vertical. All right. Yeah, I'll do right about there. All right, so that's good for now. Now, here's what I really wanted to show you. In this case here, I'm going to crop the daylights out of it. So I want to get rid of this. And let's make this free. And I want to bring this up a little bit here. And crop. Let's go right about there. All right. So now look what we just did. All right. So I cropped it did all that stuff, but of course, the proportions are not what I want it to look like. So I'm going to drag and drop it to GenExpand. Now, what do we want to do? Well, let's try a couple things. I want to expand that column just a little bit. And let's see what that does for me. And then, once I expand that, I'll address the bottom issue of the hill. That's not too bad. I can live with that. I'm going to come to the bottom. And let's call this moss covered short grass. There we go. Let's see what that does. And I could have put in there rocks, hill, just give it a descriptive prompt. And now let's see what it's going to do for us. And once it does, well, look at that. So you see how it added that by using that prompt, it did a really good job from here. Now I could redo that over here on the side, but the point I was trying to get at was, notice when I expand, do it again, moss-covered short grass. You know, by giving it that prompt and finessing it, it's going to gradually give me the results I wanted to. And now, once we do this, there it is. Now that I have it, I'll save it. And now that I have it saved, at this point is where I can come in with the crop tool again. And for the ratio, I don't want to do the original. Let's do, the actual original was what? A 2x3? Yep. So that was the original. So I can go this route here. Or if I want to make this, let's say an 8x10, which will equate to a nice 16x20 print, I could do this. Maybe crop it up a little bit more, or let's do a 16x9. I'm really falling in love with the panorama stuff. There we go. And add it in here. Either way, that's entirely up to you, but the point what I was trying to get at was sometimes the orders of operation does make a huge difference, because in this case here, I wanted to get rid of all the excess of the streets and all the other stuff, cropped it, then apply the generative from here. I'll go right back to it again. I would finesse it, and that's my starting point. And once I have a good starting point, then I can start to create my art and get the image looking the way I want it to. And actually, now that I look at it, that was a different image I used from before, but you get the idea. I would do the same thing with this, build it up, and then apply it to the image here. All right? Well, there we have it. That's how we use the generative tools, not just generative expand, but generative swap, gen erase, a little at a time. And patience is what's going to make that tool look really good. And if you don't get the results you want the first try, just hit undo, try it again. And if you still don't get the same results, close out of it, go back into it, and then what that does is, again, it's going to randomize what it's actually doing. All right? So I hope that helped you, and I hope it helped you from saving from any frustrations that you may deal with when you're working with the generative tools. All right? So, guys, if you're here, please stick around for the Ask Me Anything segment, where you can ask any questions whatsoever about today's topic, tech support on Luminar Neo, photography in general, or what's going on in the industry as a whole. All right? So stick around for that. Everyone else, thanks so much for watching. And by the way, if you want to be part of the after hours show, you can just join us here with this link right here to Zoom, and you can join us and go from there. All right? So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.